guys, this is Ria and welcome to my Booktube. Hi, so I'm Ria and if you're seeing this is probably my first video on YouTube, and this is going to be a short introduction and a small little book haul. So I'm going to introduce myself and then we are going to get to the books that I have ended 2022 with and I'm starting this year 2023 with. So let's get started. So as you have got to know from the title of the video, the description and all that this is going to be all about books and a little about vlogging, bookish stuff maybe. So the purpose of this channel is to promote reading. As you can see from this that I'm a reader. I'm a big time reader. And in this channel we are going to talk about lots of fiction, classics, non-fiction, philosophy. We are going to talk about writing a lot, maybe reviewing the books, critiquing the books and much more. So I've been a reader all my life, maybe from 5th or 6th standard, while I started reading The Time Machine, Alice in the Wonderland. Those were my first books and that got me into reading. I'm 26 and I think I'm probably pretty late to this book community. So I've been reading all my life, but since the pandemic hit, I've been introduced to this bookish community, this Bookstagram on Instagram, this Booktube on YouTube, and I had no idea that this community existed where every like-minded people came and discussed books, reviewed their favorite ones, recommended their favorite ones. So this was mesmerizing for me. And since 2020, I started my Bookstagram channel. And finally, 3 years later, I'm here on Booktube. 2020 has also been the year that I completed my master's. I'm an English literature postgraduate, and I've also been independently researching. Some of my journals, papers have been published in journals. Hopefully, we'll get to talk about that soon. So I love research as well. And if this goes well, we are going to talk about academics as well. Okay, the fun fact about me is that I love academia. Okay, so I read a lot of journals, I write papers, and while I was in my college and university, I used to write a lot of papers and read them a lot as well. So I still do that, but I do it independently. So if you're interested, if this goes well, we are going to talk about that as well. And for now, let's get into the book haul. And we'll get to know each other gradually. I hope so. First, we're going to talk about the books that I read last year and I ended the year with. So the non-fiction that I ended the year with is Orientalism. This book is written by Edward Said. If you are not aware of his writing, he's an Orientalist, he's a philosopher. He writes about Orientalism, which is the Western thinking about the East. How the West explains the East. How mythical they think about us. And the busting of the myths, the finding the reality. He's someone who tried to find out the truth about the Easterns, people who lived in the East, especially Asia. Okay, so the non-fiction that I ended my year with was obviously Tomb of Sand. So this one won the International Booker Prize. It's by Gitanjali Shree. It's a narrative that talks about family life, about longing, about feminism and so much more. It's just the language of this book that holds you tight. And honestly, I'm not a great fan of translation, but oh my god, the translation in this book by Daisy Rockwell. This has caught the tonality of the book, the sound. This book was originally written in Hindi, and this is an English translation because my Hindi is not that good. The sound effects, the little things, the little nuances that each language has, Daisy Rockwell's English translation has caught all of it. And this is a wonderful book either way, in translated or in the original version. Oh, now let's get into the books that I started this year with. So as I was researching on new writers, I found a video on YouTube where I was watching the interview of Achal Malhotra. Okay, now she writes mainly on partition, and she calls herself an oral historian, and she writes on material memory. The thing is, I was writing a paper on memory, and that's how I came across this video. So I found her video, and while I bought her book and all the books she recommended. So this is her book. This is her first book, Remnants of Separation. This is a real life stories. These are real life stories. There are several stories in here, and this talks about partition. So the writer has traveled all across India and went to Pakistan as well, and she has interviewed people who has faced the partition, who has the first-hand documentation of partition, and she has presented it in a beautiful poetic manner, talking how memory works, how nostalgia works, how the partition has affected on the people who have migrated and the people who chose to stay in both the places. So I do recommend this book as well. Okay, then the same writer recommended this book. So this book is called The Sixth River, a journal from the partition of India, and it's written by Fikar Townsby, and it is translated by Maz bin Bilal. This is also a documentation, a journal of partition. As you can see from the picture, it's horrific and it gives you goosebumps. Every tale of partition does actually. And the last book that I got, that is from her recommendation as well. This is an Atlas of Impossible Longing. It's by Anuradha Roy. So I found her explaining this book and I got it, and I'm yet to dig into this book. Hopefully when I do, I am going to provide a review on this as well. So these are the books that we talked about. These are the ones that 2022, the end of 2022 accompanied me with, and these are the books I'm reading. This I've completed, and this too I will be digging into real soon. So that's all for today. Hopefully we'll see you in next video. Thank you. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe.